Wow, I'll tell you, you can't beat the sound of vinyl, can you? You certainly can't.
That's what they say, apparently. Hey, welcome along to another episode of Paid to Talk, and a very special episode today with a very special guest. It is the Rugby Father's Day special, and who better to join us today than the one and only Ali Williams. How are you, mate?
Good, lads. How are we?
Yeah, look, before we get too ahead of ourselves here, a bit of admin from last week. A lot of you would have noticed that we didn't have a podcast last week. That's because we forgot to do it. And,
you'd be surprised, actually, just how often that happens in the podcast world.
It certainly does. You know, 1 minute you're doing a podcast and you forget you're supposed to be doing one. I remember waking up and seeing all the camera gear there, you know, the equipment and all the audio stuff, thinking, what the heck's that about? Then I realized, of course, we were supposed to be doing a podcast the day before. But as I say, these things happen and we won't dwell on it. Let's move along. We've got a great show today.
Certainly do. Easy mistake to make, but we're here this week, and great guest.
Fantastic,
a bit of a shambles.
Mate. Fantastic.
Decent old drive, though. You're up here,
It
but
is.
hey, when you're here, how magical, right?
And of course, it's not your first time up here. You've stayed here before, I think, one long weekend about a year ago and had a bit of an issue with the septic tank. I told you, about the flushing situation.
Yeah, I should have offloaded down in the in the mothership down in Auckland, but
you should. You had what we call blowback. I think they call it in the old septic tank.
Did Lee do what he does to me and just actually leave a to-do list, and it turns into a bit of a working bee? I had to scrub out the spa pool and get a new axle on the caravan.
I think the whole septic tank thing is actually where that working bee led to.
Right. Well,
I actually was in there cleaning it, and not a nice place. And I can just say personally, hygiene issues. You probably need to address them.
But it's a work in progress.
I think if anyone could agree that Lee Hart septic tank's probably not going to be a nice place, is it?
Well, funny you should say that was potentially one of the working titles for this podcast, Lee Hart Septic Tank. But I digress. Look, I tell you what, just going back to the vinyl there that you would have heard there, that was one of my originals. It's been put out on vinyl now. Sounds a bit rough, but it's great to hear it. Are you into your vinyl? Ali, are you into your vinyl? You like your sound?
There's nothing like a little bit of vinyl, is there? Yeah. No, don't know if I'd go and buy that one, but, everyone, different strokes, different folks.
Yeah, I had a bit of an issue with my vinyl. I might have mentioned this a few weeks back. I left them all in the back of a car, in the summer. They melt. All the records melted down into a big sort of lump of vinyl, I suppose. I was going to say plastic, almost like looked like a sort of Lego, the whole sort of thing. And that's no good, Jim. And it's hard to turn that back into the original record again and getting the right
that one escaped. Aren't we lucky, right? Aren't we lucky?
See, this is why you're on the show. You see, this is why we got you.
Details.
Yeah. Details. Hey, another tip for those people that are into the vinyl, the records. I had a bit of an issue with my dishwasher a few weeks back with a Miele dishwasher. Yeah. They came in, they replaced it with a really good one. A replacement. They were going to take the old one away. I said, leave it here, because it was only the heat pump that was wrong with it. It was still washing, doing the cold wash. Yeah. So what I use that for now is my vinyl collection. I wash them in that, and I can leave them in there, alphabetical order, all the records, and just wash them when I need it. Just leave it by the record player, get the record out, and you bang, you straight on there.
I'm not sure how many podcasts you've done with Ali Williams, but I'm not sure that he's here to talk about your vinyl collection, your Miele dishwasher, your scrubbing your septic tank.
You did right about that.
We're probably bang on topic though.
Yeah, carry on.
You did
the
right
reality of what I can offer to these things is pretty limited.
Time is money. And look, we are here. We are going to be covering a lot of topics in depth. On that note, do you want to do poos? Anyone need to do poos or?
Kind of, but I was late and then you said I couldn't. I have to come straight into the podcast.
Let's just keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. But at the risk of dating this, show before it even, goes to where. Big game this weekend, big All Black game. We're talking about the Springboks, All Blacks at Eden Park. Something you're no stranger to, probably less familiar to you, Matt. Ali, how many games? Is it 50-odd tests since we've lost Eden Park?
Yeah, I think
94,
you're right.
you were saying?
50 off test. Their last loss, I think it was to the French. Yeah, it's a pretty special place, and Nick Sautner there at Eden Park, he's labelled it the Fortress.
Yep.
So I've got some good feelings about this.
I think this test match, regardless of where it was going to be played, it's the Springboks, All Blacks, both coming off a loss recently. So it's going to be an epic test match anyway. But this Fortress aspect, the Eden Park aspect, that's what I want to ask you about. Psychologically, how much does it help, and does it get to a stage where it starts to perhaps become counterproductive, too much pressure?
No, look, I don't think so. I think playing at Eden Park is a spectacle for both the fans and the players. And I think it's probably the loudest the place gets.
It's a fortress. You're about to go out there. You're in the changing room. Just say you're going to be playing in this game, and that you hadn't lost to Eden Park for 50 matches. Is that talked about among the team beforehand, or
it's not? It's not talked about. Definitely not talked about. But the reality behind it is, as you say, Eden Park is special to all Kiwis, and it's revered around the world as a place to play rugby. And I think for the players themselves, it's a challenge, but it's also a responsibility. And comes responsibility is there's two ways to look at it. You either look at it as a full-blown burden, or you look at it as excitement to get up and have fun.
Yeah, look, I might just interrupt you there. Hey, do you need tyres? You've got to go to Hyperdrive.
That it?
Yeah, it's all on the website, the details.
Catchy. This game, pretty big, being compared up there with some of the bigger games, World Cup finals and whatnot. Do we need to be running some sort of vetting process on caterers, chefs leading into this one? There's a bit of a checkered past around that, not to mention 95.
Good point, actually. Good point.
You've been bringing up the quality of being able to get a beer, that kind of stuff? Or
No, I just mean whoever's making the food for the All Blacks, making sure there's nothing stuck in there.
Yeah.
Went down, I saw a few lads yesterday, and they stepped it up. They're at nicer hotels. Security is everything. So those boys are well looked after. So no, the food should be all right.
That's relief.
Saw Artie too. Played his 100th game this year, and this week, and you talk about that emotional element. Well, you put on a leader like that with the pressure there. Look, this is old school.
Well, that's another thing I was going to say, because there's pressure on South Africa, of course. They haven't won there before. There's pressure on us to defend that, so maybe that's cancelling itself out. Then you've got things like that, his 100th game, Ardie Savea. I always seem to recall, and I'm God, touch wood, I'm not trying to hex anything, but when we put too much pressure on it, so-and-so's last test match, or it's so-and-so's 100th test match, you can overcook it. The emotion can perhaps get too much, and a game like this against South Africa, discipline's going to be huge, right?
Yeah, well, a game like this is controlling the emotion. You have emotion, but you've got to control it, and you control it so that then you're not making those errors. And as you say, the discipline, and we're probably not tracking that well with discipline. Very hard for me to sit here and comment too much on the rugby. I don't watch a lot of it. But when a game like this comes around, I think everyone comes out of the woodwork. I've actually got a good friend we all know, and Andrew Hoare is actually making the trip up. So it's probably the first.
Yeah, I think he's speaking, isn't he? Isn't he?
Oh, he must be. But this will be the last time I'll be speaking coherently this weekend. Given my company that I'll be keeping.
You've obviously got some pretty good fond memories at Eden Park. I've got a memory from. There was a penalty about 5 metres out. I think you were sort of centre field, and I think you tapped it, kicked it to the corner. Doug Howlett got that try. Is that the sort of flamboyant play the All Blacks can go with this weekend, or do you keep it in tight?
No, that was a definite 0 to 0 moment, that one. If that had gone drastically wrong, then we were on the next boat to China, and they don't even play rugby. So,
was there any feedback from the coach's box?
There was some coarse language as the ball was in the air. And then as the ball was in Dougie's hand and touched down, it was, mate, you're a legend, blah, blah, blah. So, I got the full rundown around the coaches and how that all worked. But this will be rock solid, mate. This is a forwards game, this one in the weekend. I think the first half will be very boring, but it'll be pretty classic to watch, and it'll be thuggish, which is going to be that's what we're all wanting for, isn't it?
And the likes of the first five there with the South Africa, the Pollard. Obviously, he's going to be
great rugby knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll be nailing his kicks. Obviously,
is he playing?
I think he is, isn't he? I think he might be starting. Is he?
Between the three of us, I think there's bugger all rugby knowledge here. Well, we're chatting about all sorts of bullshit around rugby.
Well, let's just
should we take it back to the septic tanks?
Well,
let's go back to vinyl septic tanks and.
But just finally on the rugby, we missed the podcast last week. That's not going to happen in rugby. You're not going to be getting a phone call from Ted on a Saturday night going, "Where the hell were you?" And you won't be going, "Oh shit, was that today? Was it?" That doesn't happen at that level.
Not with the leashes around the necks, and they pull you along like a little sheep, and they know.
Was that today? Was it?
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Don't know if you've been invited, because apparently Lee's having a bit of a party, sort of kick-ons or whatever. I haven't personally been invited. You've been invited to the after party?
No,
You had
definitely been invited.
Okay.
I can actually tell you a little story. After I think it was after one All Blacks game, we had a few mates and there's close connections here, friends, older friends, and I actually turned up at Lee's house because you were close right by and had a few beers. He was kind enough to give us a few beers, so thank you very much.
He often has them lying around.
On that note, hold that thought.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people come up to me in the street and say, "Hey, Lee, you look like you've had a couple, but hey, you're looking great. How do you do it?" Well, I'll tell you, it's with Wakachangi Low Carb. Have I lost any weight? Not really, but maybe I haven't drunk enough yet. Wakachangi Low Carb. Tell them I sent you. Let's shake it up about that one, Terry.
All right, actually, might have to stop you there, Lee. Let's take a quick break and be back very shortly. Jeez, you really crowbarred that one in there, Lee.
Well, you got it nowadays, Matt. Someone's got to pay for this show. Hey, look, before we get off the rugby topic, in general, you're more of a spectator now, obviously, with rugby. What are your thoughts of the game? How can the game change or improve, for spectators? What's pissing you off about rugby at the moment?
Yeah, look, I'm sort of crossed at the moment. I genuinely don't think that it's a game that spectators have been considered when watching it. I think in terms of standards and what's on the field, I think the guys are getting better and better, which is always what we want. But you know what? Life is actually about entertaining. Life is actually about fun. Life is actually about looking at the light-hearted stuff. What's on the field, we all know that the guys will do everything they can. But for me, it's like be one thing to a group of people and anchor down at that. Look at the UFC, look at all those other sports that are just, they are what they are and people love them and other people don't like them. It's a bit like you and I, right? Yeah. There's some people out there that like us. There's other people out there just don't like us. So we don't want to waste our time trying to get the people that don't like us. I mean,
speak for yourself, I think.
Jump in here, I think this guy thinks everyone likes him, but I have come across the old guy that just said, mate, that guy drives me fucking bonkers.
Oh, likewise, the amount of people I bumped in that said, Ali Williams, you're not getting him on the podcast, are you? I hope not. And I said,
Oh, no, I get that. I get the same guy comes and sees me. I actually once was in my local school and we were playing football with these young kids and I thought, look, I'll play a bit of thing. And this young kid walks up to me and goes, "You know what? My dad thinks you suck." I was like, "Oh, that's great. What do you think?" He goes, "Yeah, I think you suck too." And I was like, "Well, what's the point here?" I said, "Which one's your dad?" And there's this little guy. That's me. And I was like, "Don't you love kids, right?"
If I could just shoehorn myself back in, if I could, Matt, for a moment. We were talking about music, etc. I mean, you used to listen to music before games, of course, with the headphone system kind of stuff. Yep. What did you listen to?
I actually listened to every game. I listened to last song I listened to before I went out there was Eminem, You Got One Shot, right?
Yep.
And it just realigned me, told me I was back into the in the cauldron. And the fact is, every game could be your last one, but every game has also got an opportunity to do something different. So
it was amazing because I suppose in the modern era they had the headphones, that sort of stuff. Everybody could listen to their own music.
Jonah phones, they used to call them. Initially, it came from Big Jonah Lomu, and he had Jonah phones, and so we all progressed. Even big, tall white guys had Jonah phones. It didn't look as good as Jonah wearing them, but I
remember my uncle Hank, not Hank with an E, Hank. He was one of the first people to listen to music before a big match. He played for West Coast, and he used to have the record player, that sort of gramophone, and the changing rooms, before a match, because that's all they had in those days. You couldn't have your own music, so everyone used to have to listen to what he was listening to, and that used to piss a lot of people off. He played for a while, and then obviously spent quite a lot of time in NAM back in the 60s, of course.
It does remind me of my great uncle. He wasn't Hank; he was Hank.
Hank.
Yeah. So this wasn't Hank, it was Hank.
No, his was Hank.
Yours is Hank.
Mine was Hank.
But this is your direct uncle.
Well, yeah.
This was quite a distant uncle from mine, so hence the name Hank doesn't really run through my family.
Well, he was a great uncle, I suppose, Hank. But Hank
or Hank?
Hank. Hank spent time as a man. He ended up in NAM, for quite a while, at least 2 weeks, with jump leads on his testicles.
Oh, wow. Was he what, in the army or prisoner of war or something?
No, why? How do you mean?
Well, he's sort of tortured with jump leads.
No, he's on holiday. It's more like, I don't know if you'd call it more sort of sex tourism. outdexterism, I suppose. So, you know, they'd put jumper leads on I mean, that alone, even if you don't have electric charge going through them, is full on enough. But the interesting thing about this, and a lot of people don't know this, if you end up with jumper leads on your testicles for long enough, what he found out, your testicles can end up holding a charge. You know, so in a way, even when he left Vietnam, he would come back here. If someone had a flat battery in a car or something, he could sometimes jumpstart their car from his testicles. So you just put the positive and the negative, and then you put the positive jumper lead and the negative one on your positive testicle and your negative testicle. A lot of people don't know that you actually do have a positive and a negative testicle. Yeah. I think the positive one is the one that hangs lower, or maybe that's a negative. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But
what happens if you get them around the wrong way?
Well, you end up probably sucking power out of the battery into your testicles again, and you don't want that. You just certainly don't want that. But they used to call them Tesla testes.
Tesla.
They used to call them Tesla testes. But look, I think we've digressed somehow into that. I don't know how we got onto this.
How we do that.
Yeah, we'll take a break and be back very shortly.
And we're back on 5, 4, 3. And we're live. So look, I'd like to bring it back to sport if I could, Alec.
It seems common knowledge when you and I are.
AFC.
Yes.
Woo!
Not bad, eh?
No, it's going pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, we're missing one key ingredient, but we'll get there. Can you help me?
What is that? Goalie?
No.
Streaker?
No, it's off-field. It's part of the entertainment. It's a bit of humour, bit of brand presence.
Snacky janky? Chips?
That's what
there you go. Okay.
That's what we're missing, right?
Let's
let's if you know someone that knows that Snacker Chang brand,
I'll speak to some people about that.
Let's anchor in on that, I think.
What a great idea, Ali, and why not get that advertising started now? They said it couldn't be done. Snacker Changy prawn cocktail chips, they're back on the market. Beautiful. Tell them I sent you.
Really, really good.
How exciting, for example, and understand, so there's the women AFCs happening, but that's been a bit delayed.
It's been delayed, unfortunately, but we've just launched our development program for the girls, and that's started off actually last week. Yep. And the girls are getting in. We've got a lot of talent here, especially with the girls. Yeah, I've been on the
website. There's so much sort of going on. There's news. So how much of your energy, I suppose, are you putting into that? Because it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, look, I'm putting a fair bit, and the reality is it's probably bigger picture energy in terms of how we can challenge the norm and do things like that. It's exciting, given those opportunities. But you know, it's just cool to see Auckland thriving, the energy and people talking about it, and there's those pathways that created for young kids. So I think he's looking at you to answer a decent question because he's sort of struck.
Wow, I'm still got the mental image of testicles getting a charge from a Tesla.
I'm just worried about how many people are going to, leave this podcast after listening, go home and put jump leads on their testicles.
Is it the new sort of ice bath?
Yes, we're going the reverse.
You certainly wouldn't want to do it in an ice. No, we wouldn't. You know what I mean? Because that you're really starting to double down on it then, in many ways.
Now, gentlemen, I love both of you deeply with everything. But given that this is paid TV, what do you call it, the paid podcast, and you didn't pay me, I've actually had to catch the bus up here. And my timetable is...
Just before you go, as you well know, this is our Father's Day special. Okay. You're a father?
Yes.
What would you want for Father's Day? What makes a perfect Father's Day for you?
Lying in bed, eggs, shitload of bacon, and being in bed just chilling with your kids.
Funny you should say that. Oh, g'day. A lot of people come up to me in the street and say, hey, Lee, it's Father's Day. You're a father. What would you want for Father's Day? Well, I tell you, show them that you care with bacon. Hell is bacon. Perfect in a bacon buddy or a bacon breakfast. Tell them I sent you.
Sorry to cut like that, but I honestly...
Was it the Hank story?
I'll be in touch.
Hey, we'll call you. No, you. Thanks, man.
Love you.
Thank you. Was it? I think it was the Hank story.
I think it went quite well.
I think
we lost him at the septic tank.
I think he got bored of the rugby chat.
Yeah.